Hi, folks. It's Dr. Spears. Wanted to send you a quick message in regards to the MCAT and the COVID-19 situation. There's been some significant changes taking place to the MCAT that I've been getting a lot of messages, emails, social media about. So I just kind of wanted to go over that with you so you know what's happening with the MCAT. And so we know that there's been a lot of, sheltering in place, quarantine, however you want to refer to it, physical distancing, social distancing, or whatever, where you are supposed to stay at home, limit contacts, and all of that. And basically, anything that's non essential has been shut down, especially if you're in the Northeast or so, and some of the other states throughout the country. And with that, a lot of the or not Kaplan, but the Prometric testing centers, they've actually been closed, shut down, and students need to take their medical college admission test so that they can actually go ahead with the process of applying to medical school. And so some of these services are going to start opening up soon, but obviously there's going to be a backlog of how many students can get into these testing centers. So there's going to be changes taking place starting on May 29th. And these changes are going to run throughout the rest of the year. So through the end of 2020 is when these changes are going to continue in effect. And one of the biggest changes is going to be actually the test time that you have for your MCAT, because we need to get more people through the MCAT in a shortened period of time. You can now take the MCAT 3 times a day, where you have an option to. You can take it at either 6:30 in the morning, you can take it at 12:15 in the afternoon, so about noon, and then you can also take it at 6 p.m. at night. Now, previously, when you took the MCAT, you had a total test sitting time of 7 hours and 30 minutes. But the AAMC has changed things a bit, so now they actually reduced the test time from to 5 hours and 45 minutes. So that's going to make you guys feel really good about that. You don't have to be at a test exam center for so long, and that's why they're able to offer these 3 test administrations a day when they have the MCAT available for you. And what you need to know, though, however, although the time difference is shorter, the number of questions that are actually scored remain the same, because what they do on these tests, they put in some what would we say they are test questions that they're not sure if they're going to grade. They just want to see how examinees perform on these questions, and they'll see whether they're going to use them in a next upcoming exam. Maybe they're going to throw them out, and just to make sure the validity of the exam is where it needs to be. So there's a lot of metrics that go into that. So you guys don't need to worry about that. So actually, you're probably going to have your exam, now that the questions are going to be less, are actually going to be focused on ones that are actually going to be counted and graded. Because in the past, let me see, I wrote down some numbers here for me. In the past version of the test, you had actually 59 questions per section, and you had 95 minutes to get through those questions. Now, with this new MCAT COVID-19 testing situation, you're going to have only 48 questions, and you're only going to have 76 minutes to do that. So you're dropping basically 11 questions per section, and your time is going to drop by about 19 minutes or so. Just that's rough ballpark math that I'm doing for you guys, so don't quote me on that, but that's basically what it is. And however, the cars pretty much is going to stay the same. Cars on a new MCAT COVID-19 section, that is going to be 48 questions in 81 minutes. Now, previously, you had 53 questions for cars in 90 minutes. So that's almost a complete passage that might be eliminated from your cars section. So just want to keep that in mind for the people really concerned about like cars and reading and how and like thinking they have to go faster on a test. You actually don't. I had a student email me in regards like how should I prepare for the MCAT, And I think that even with the changes taking place, it's going to be like tutorials are going to be reduced. Some of those optional breaks you can still have, but you don't need to take them. And again, these test questions that they're used that aren't going to be graded, those are going to actually be eliminated from the test. So I think as a person preparing for the MCAT, you need to prepare like it's the regular MCAT, and everything like that. So I don't want to see people taking these full length practice MCATs and trying to alter them to kind of mimic what the new MCAT is, because ultimately it's going to be a shorter test, shortened testing day for you. So the likelihood that you're going to run into fatigue is not going to be a big case. And I played sports in high school growing up and stuff like that, so I like to use a lot of sports analogies, and use one from football practice that we had. Sometimes or football practice, if you guys don't know, I'm talking about football Americana, so American football, like with a quarterback, running back, wide receivers, defensive backs, where you tackle people, not the football that most people know throughout the world, which is soccer. That's not what I did. So football Americano, American football, is 4 quarters is what it is. And so we would have our practice, work hard. Coaches would have their like, what was, they actually had the blowhorn and everything like that, the whistles, and we're working hard in practice. Okay, we're at the first quarter. Okay, we're going to the second quarter. Okay, we're going to the third quarter. And I think, okay, practice is gonna be over real soon. We're about to hit the fourth quarter. That's gonna be end of things. And you know what coach would do? We would get to that fourth quarter, and he would say, "All right, gentlemen, overtime," and that would mean more practice. That would be more like maybe 10 or 15 minutes extra of like hardcore practice that we just weren't expecting. He said he had to get us ready for the game because you didn't know sometimes you might have an overtime, or coach didn't think we were practicing the way that we needed to be, so he would throw on like an overtime that was unexpected. And you know, in practice sometimes you kind of pace yourself a little bit, knowing, okay, this is the end, and coach would see that, so like, okay, we're going to make these guys work a little bit. And that was the case. So he had to over prepare us so that when we came to game time situation, we would be ready. That's the same thing that's taking place with you and the MCAT. You're going to be over prepared by taking these full length exams that are really catered towards that 7 hour, 30-minute testing time. But when you get in now with the MCAT COVID-19 situation, it's only going to be 5 hours and 45 minutes. So fatigue and getting tired shouldn't really be a huge, huge factor if you've been preparing using the old MCAT, full-length exams and everything like that to get ready for the MCAT COVID-19 testing situation that's going to run from May 29th through the end of 2020, so through the end of December of the year 2020. So just keep that in mind. And now people might be thinking, okay, it's shorter exam. I'm kind of concerned about that. So I just did some quick, what was it, table math, napkin math, whatever you want to call it. And with the extended to normal version of the MCAT, the amount of time that you had per question was about 1.61 minutes per, give or take, per question on the old MCAT, or what we're used to. But with the MCAT COVID-19, your time is actually going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to be 1.58 minutes per question. So you got to move it slightly, like what, 3/10 of a second faster per question. But overall, you're going to have less questions and it's going to be shorter. So I don't see that being an issue for you. Even if you're getting down to the end of the day, you have less time in a test room by like over an hour and a half or so. So you really shouldn't be fatigued or tired, and it's not like they're pushing you to go a lot faster when you're preparing for the MCAT with this new testing environment to get everybody through it. So I don't think this is going to be like huge significant change that's taking place. And the AAMC also stated that this is only a temporary measure. So once the COVID-19 situation has passed, or we become accustomed to it, adapted, or what is it, as the military would say, I forget which one, improvise, adapt, and overcome, to COVID-19, they are not going to change the MCAT permanently to these testing times. It's going to go back to the normal testing time. So just for now, you have this shortened MCAT test where the actual content is the same. The questions that are actually graded are going to be about the same amount or so. So it's not going to be a significant change for you. But I just wanted to put that out there because I know there's a lot of questions, concerns that students have. Anybody who's getting ready for the MCAT, because it's such a major test, you want to make sure that everything is going right and you want to make sure that you're prepared for it and you have a good strong understanding of what's going to take place. So just prepare for it like you normally would. And you know my advice to everybody who's taking the MCAT is a test that you want to take once and only once. So only sit for it when you're most prepared to do extremely well on it. And that's just my advice for you. And just know that it takes time. Preparing for the MCAT's a process, but you can do it. You got to work hard. You got to study smart. You got to be efficient in your approach to it. I also have my MCAT Mastery Companion course I'm going to throw out there. If you guys have problems preparing for the MCAT, don't feel like you are learning the knowledge that you need to be to do well in the MCAT, I have that a course available for you. So just make sure you avail yourself of all resources that are out there for you so that you can have success on this test, because you have to remember that the MCAT is the number one factor that goes into a medical school admissions decision. AdComs are going to look at your score. It allows them to make apples to apples, oranges to oranges comparison of applicants, because you guys go to all these different colleges, universities, and GPAs are totally different. Everybody writes a little bit different what they're going to put in their personal experiences for their personal statement and their extracurricular activities. But remember, this is science, this is medicine, and so we need to have objective measuring factors, and the easiest way to do that is with the MCAT. And so just keep that in mind, do well on it, do your best on it. And if you feel you're unprepared or your process of studying isn't working, not getting you the results that you want, don't be afraid to change and do something different. And you really got to make the most of this time. I know you guys, basically, this is like perfect. Now that I think about it, this is perfect studying time. You don't have anywhere to go. You don't have any place to be. You're locked in at home or wherever you're at. And now's the time to buckle down and come out stronger on the other side of this. And like, you know what? I knocked the MCAT. I hit a home run on the MCAT. I just hit the ball out of the park on the MCAT, and I'm so happy and pleased. So just buckle down for the time that you need to do to study for it and get the results that you need, because in a year from now or 2 years from now, whenever you plan on applying to medical school and you get that congratulations phone call, email, or letter, that's going to be life-changing for you, and I want that to happen for you. But the only way that's going to happen is if you excel in the MCAT. So we just talked about some of the changes taking place. And again, Dr. Spears, you can find me at drpremed.com. That's the website, and there's a lot of good information there as well. So look forward to your success, and remember, study wisely.